Hi, everyone. My name is Marian Farrell, and I'm one of the nursing faculty at the University of Scranton. And I recognize that we're all living in a different time. And so what I thought I would do is share some thoughts about living with COVID, COVID, tips for living. So what I did is I took COVID and I tried to put into some words what we could do and maybe a good way of remembering to keep doing it. This is an ongoing change in our lives, and it's something that we really need to work on. So the first letter is C, and that's to be calm, right? Try to take deep breaths. Adopt a schedule that allows you to have breaks. Try going for a walk. Listen to some music. Have some light music on in the background if that helps. Use mindfulness. There are some wonderful apps that are on YouTube that would be very helpful. They're easy to follow. And after a while, you don't even need to follow it because you can do it all on your own. Practice relaxation exercises and be sure that you keep doing it. It's like bodybuilding. You have to do them several times a day in order to get the full benefit from them. Doing them occasionally, once in a while, won't have the same benefit. The next letter is O, get organized. Consider 10 minutes each morning to organize your day. Create a list. Put some times in there for completion. Remember, keep the list short and keep it focused. Respect priorities, especially you. Don't make the list too long because it's going to become overwhelming and it's going to be too difficult to actually achieve it, and it might make you feel hopeless. So remember, short and focused. The next letter is V, and what I put there is to watch the volume, review your expectations, be flexible. Note that you can't do everything and that you need to be, again, mindful of who you are and what you need to do and what your priorities are. So again, don't add too much to that list that we talked about in the previous slide. Think about your individual approach. So that's the next letter, I, individual. Eat healthy. Look at your diet. Limit your refined sugars, your carbohydrates, alcohol. Remember that adults need 7 to 9 hours of uninterrupted sleep. So that might mean that you need to look at your sleep-wake schedule, and it needs to be consistent. So if you look at going to bed at the same time, pick a target date, target time, and start maybe 11 o'clock is when you want to be asleep. So maybe at 10:30, you're going to start taking some nice, slow, deep breaths. Make sure you've turned off all the electronics that are surrounding you. And as you're doing those nice deep breaths, you're probably letting go of all the things that have happened during the day. And then when you get into bed, try to take some nice slow deep breaths. Sometimes it's helpful to have light music on that doesn't have words, and that music would play all night long. And so as you're taking your deep breaths and you're going to sleep, you're saying to yourself, this is the sound that I sleep with. And so that if you were to start to wake up again during the night, you just start taking those nice slow deep breaths, and again reminding you and your brain that that's the sound that I sleep with. Sometimes it's a goal that you're working on to get that 7 to 9 hours, so that you look at the target time that you want to go to bed, you look at a target time that you want to wake up, and you keep moving it until you reach that target. Exercise is another option. And so exercise might mean that you go for a brisk walk. Exercise might mean that you can follow along on a program that's on TV or on your phone or on your computer. But you want to pick something that's going to be helpful and restful for you. You don't want to feel exhausted by it, but as you're doing that, particularly if you're, say, to take a walk, you could kind of incorporate those nice, slow, deep breaths with that walk. And as you're blowing it out, you're trying to let go of the stress and the worry that has been pulled inside of yourself. The next area is to think about how will you develop your emotional resilience. Resilience is a key area for all of us to work on so that we're continually dealing with the stressors that we have in daily life. And remember, COVID is just one of those stressors. So get a journal, write down, and think about what are you feeling right now. So that self-awareness of what you are feeling, why are you feeling, maybe some of the triggers that led to you feeling this way can be important. Perseverance, is something that, again, is another attribute that's so important so that we don't feel that our current situation is hopeless or that it's helpless. We need to utilize problem solving. Part of that problem solving also is reaching out to other individuals so that we don't feel that we have to do this all on our own. We seek out those people that can be in our support system so that we can move on. And that's that part of that network then of positive beliefs about self. You need to create that. You need to think about all the things that you are able to do, not dwelling so much on the things that you can't do, but also the positive beliefs that where you are today is okay. And if there needs to be changes, that you are capable of making those changes. This network that you create about yourself is also a network then that you can share with other individuals. D stands for decisions. And again, thinking about reinforcing the internal locus of control. In times when you have to make changes, not necessarily but because you want to, but because you have to. So when we look at the restrictions that we've all encountered over the past several months, it's very important to reinforce the internal locus of control. Remind yourself of the things that you can make a decision about that are within your control. And again, keep reminding yourself of how much you are in control of what's happening on a daily basis. Try to reframe events, shift it to a positive outcome. And sometimes that's just as important when you're looking at, well, I have to stay in my house. Okay, so while you're staying in your house, do you have more time maybe to take care of yourself? Maybe to communicate with other people who are living in your house? Maybe to do a project that is either in your house or a project for yourself as part of your self-care management. It's also important to look at stress management. And so stress management has a couple different categories. So again, journaling about this can be very helpful. Think about problem-focused. So problem-focused stress management are looking at eliminating the stress simply by decreasing the triggers. And that might go way back to the beginning of what I talked about, to keep your list, keep it focused, keep it simple. Sometimes people get overwhelmed because they put too high expectations on themselves. The next one is emotion focused. So regulate your emotions. Be aware of that you're feeling anxious or you're feeling stressed or you're fearful or you're angry. And think about, well, this is how I'm feeling. What's related to that? What's leading to those feelings in myself? And because of those feelings, then what's happening in terms of your behavior, your thought process, your creation that you had in terms of your self-support system. So all of these pieces come together and it's very important. I think it's a simple way of looking at COVID. I also practice as a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and I know that individuals have utilized these suggestions and they found them helpful. It's a way of life and it's something that we do every day and that we can manage the stressors that come with or without COVID. I hope this helps. Take care, stay well.